This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. And D-Sign, just in time to go live. Hello, everyone. This is Yonks with REtoken, the real estate DAO, and this is now our third white paper working group. So super excited. We're hanging out here on a Saturday afternoon. It is November the 20th and making some progress. And let's see who we've got on the live stream today. Let me go ahead and bring this in. I don't know if you can actually see here who all that we've got. We've got myself, Tyler Yonker, Mrs. Yonk's Crush, Amy, Brian, Poopster, and D-Sign. So welcome everybody. Good afternoon. And I don't think that actually showed up on the live stream, but I'm going to get a screenshot of it nonetheless here for the participation collection or whatever. So anyway, the white paper working group. So there was a couple things that we had, and I'm actually going to open that Trello card, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. So this is the Trello card, and Trello is the tool that we utilize for getting all the things done here. And we actually, side note, Mrs. Yonks and I are hosting a book club Saturday morning on Clubhouse. And that's something that I'll work on getting on the calendar here for REtoken if anybody wants to participate in that, getting things done. So again, this is our third white paper working group. And here's the Trello card. And I was wanting to go to the Trello card that we had for our previous one, just so that we could recap the previous next actions here. And this is just so that everybody knows, this is just something that I did so that I could make sure that got all of the looming items completed. So passive income quest, Discord temp check, and that's actually one of the things that I'm going to hop right in here and show. There was a tweet that I sent out here on the REtoken DAO Discord, because we actually have three things that we're wanting to discuss. And I thought it would be easier just to look at this tweet, because this tweet is pretty simple. There's a lot of details on the Trello card, but we'll be referring to that here first. So the tagline, Biddle passive income with real estate. So one of the things on this tweet is I included a screenshot of the Discord, and let me open up the Discord here for everyone to see. So we have the voting and proposals section here on Discord, and we actually have a couple opportunities specifically related to the white paper, and we're going to leave this temp check run through our core team call tomorrow. So the passive income quest, we'll talk more about that. And one of the things that I was thinking of doing an announcement in conjunction with this tweet in these like three items, because this is really three opportunities for people to participate before we send out the official proposal on Snapshot. And one of the things that I thought would be fun, and I wanted everybody to chime in here on your thoughts on that, is incentivizing with REtoken, as we have very often done, awarding anybody that does the poll 5 additional REtoken per item. So that would be potentially a 15 bonus REtoken, because I think that these are pretty important. And then we, like I said, we like incentivizing the participation. So wanted to open it up and let everybody chime in what your thoughts are on the additional Discord participation opportunity for some bonus REtoken.
So yeah, just to clarify, that's the additional is for the RSVP for the events.
No, just so this isn't an actual event. We're in the event right now. This is to move this conversation forward through our temp check, and then just, you know, the way that the voting proposals process works, and this is a pinned message here. I also created the governance video if people want to watch that. It's like a 10-minute video where I kind of go into these things. So like the proposal workflow, like this first item here, discussion origination, like all of these items here, these three things, this tagline, the passive income quest, the light paper versus white paper, those are all the discussions of those originated via our previous working group. So this is the way that we've created the proposal process. So then this, we're actually in this right here, the Discord thread, this is what we call the temp check. So like on these, the proposal draft, this is something that we are really working on changing. The markdown has just been a lot easier with Trello, and this was just seemed like an unnecessary step as far as complicating the matter, because most of these proposals, especially like the ones that we're talking about here, these three items, the tagline, and this is really what we're, if this proceeds, we'll likely utilize this right here for this light paper or white paper title, and utilize that for like a tagline and social media and just a lot of communications. So I think that all three of these are important. The passive income quest, this is going to be kind of like a work in progress if we move forward in this, because I could really see like this unfolding over a longer period of time and really providing like, because and this is something that we were briefly speaking about earlier, Brian, this light paper versus white paper poll. And let me show you where that's at on the Discord here real quick too. So we have our white paper thread, and it might have went archived here real quick. Let's see, white paper. And so here's where the poll's at, and I pinned it in here as well. So right now, 87%, it looks like there's been 8 people that have participated in this. So this is one of those 3 items that was speaking about. And like if you do a search, and so does that help you where to find it? And I know that I did that search pretty quickly, but the search functionality works great in Discord. And if you ever struggle on finding anything, just do a quick search for it. And just a side thought, do utilize a lot of threads. So like this is the ongoing thread that we've got here for the white paper conversation. So to keep on go. So anyway, I was talking about the additional opportunity for the 5 bonus retoken, and that's something that I think that we should move forward with, and wanted to see if there was any reservations on that. And this is again just incentivizing good behavior. We've done this type of thing very regularly in the past, and I was actually thinking of doing an announcement here to give one last opportunity. The announcements is something that we have used sparingly. Look, like here was one that I was thinking of sending that I didn't send. So we're in the white paper working group. So that's one that I didn't send that I thought of. So this is, I thought that it would be good to communicate and provide just like some easy links, like 1, 2, 3, vote on these. You get 5 retoken for each one that you vote on between now and the core team call tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's good to incentivize participation.
And I'm just like, oh, I think this is my previous one. It is. Let me close this and get to the one, because I was, go ahead.
So Jan's question there then, so the voting is it going to be centralized on a Discord? Because I know we just kind of went to a couple of different places to find a couple of different polls.
So on that, like the reason, and yeah, so the poll is still like that one that I was talking about. It's normally right here in the voting proposals. So the two that was talking about, the BIDL passive income and the passive income quest, this is in the voting proposals, and the other one was a poll that created in the white paper thread. So normally all of the stuff that we're sending through the voting proposal process goes here in this thread here, the voting proposals. And honestly, like probably the reason that I didn't put the one in the poll right here that's pinned in that thread is probably wasn't thinking of going through the entire voting proposal process at that time. And in retrospect, I think that this is something, because one of the other ways that I like of looking at snapshot is that that's just one additional opportunity. And this conversation here, like all three of these items, I think are fairly significant as far as really kind of setting the tone around like the tagline, like this is something that can have significant implications going forward, because again, this is something that I really think can provide a very positive narrative, because the opportunity that we're creating with real estate tokens, the tokenization of real estate, is functionally a vehicle that ultimately provides passive income. And so super excited about that. But so in retrospect, yes, it should have been in the voting proposals channel, and kind of been playing around a little bit with the sesh bot, and that's something else that we'll be talking about Sunday, because the sesh bot is what we've been using for events, and like this event here in Discord. Anyway, that's a side conversation for the core team call. So anything that we run through the voting proposals process is here in this channel. Wasn't, like I said, wasn't originally planning on the light paper versus white paper making a separate snapshot proposal, but I think it'll be an important enough and a significant enough situation to run through our full-blown voting proposal process. Hey, Blur's Day is here. So does that answer that question in a very long and tedious manner, Brian?
Oh yeah, thank you. Very helpful. And I think
good.
all three of the items we listed out are good items, especially the tagline saying exactly what REtoken can do for the people who are participating. I think that's a good way to create some identity around what the token is, because a lot of times people want to have like one sentence or one phrase that they can lean on to associate with an item, and so having that branding there right at the top, I think that's good. REtoken, BIDL passive income with real estate for everyone. I think that's good.
Yeah, and the BIDL hashtag there, that's one that I am just starting to learn a little bit as far as the cultural significance that plays. And a side note, I was having some conversation with the DAOists yesterday. That's another DAO that I participate in, about the ETH Denver. And I don't know exactly from a historical standpoint where BIDL was born from. I think it was ETH Denver, but I'm not for sure. And anyway, Mrs. Yonks and I do have a PFP NFT of the Bufficorn BIDL Brigade. So that provides some additional benefits. So that's something that we'll be talking more about here as a potential opportunity for anybody else that wants to participate in that to connect here and potentially have our own in-person REtoken meetup here in Denver. So just kind of putting that out there, some food for thought, but it's going to be one of the biggest Ethereum conferences in 2022, and that'll be in February. So that's kind of a little additional. And there was a really good, and since talking about it here, what does BIDL mean Ethereum? This was something that showed yesterday on the or on our previous working group, and I thought that I would bring it up here just to highlight that again. As far as BIDL is a call to arms for building and contributing to the blockchain and cryptocurrency ecosystem instead of passively holding. So that's kind of fun there, because that's what we're doing. And then what we're creating through the real estate security tokens that will be created is the opportunity for people to have passive income. So, and so real quick, I'll put that, let me add that here as the next actions that I don't forget about here for today's agenda. And I'm going to stop talking. If anybody wants to chime in here on some thoughts real quick, that would be great. And then we'll get back into the planned agenda. And did want to, I saw Blur's Day pop in, so welcome Blur's Day. Was kind of in the middle of rabbling, but I rabble a lot, so.
Yeah, totally my bad. I totally forgot we had a meeting.
No worries. Well, thank you for being here. And that's actually one thing that I'm curious to hear while I'm doing this next action is, where did everybody get their Zoom link for today's working group?
Gmail.
So you like that coming in through the Gmail, everybody?
Yeah, I think it was convenient. Initially I did the Discord RSVP with a seshbot, let you know your RSVP. But then when I hadn't received the Zoom link, I did the calendar too. So moving forward, I'll probably hit both just to remind myself. But yeah, it was pretty easy.
And the reason that I'm asking is because that this week is changing things up quite a bit on a lot of fronts. And I mean, one of which isn't necessarily me. It's just changing it up to see if we can make things easier with like the Discord event functionality there. So this was, let me see, I'm so bad at multitasking. Create Discord.
The email invite was good, Yonks.
Okay, so
yeah, that made it really easy for me.
Okay, well that's one of the things, and where I'll show you where I was going with that in a minute, because I was actually taking the effort here to like itemize procedurally what goes into creating these live stream events that have been hosting here. And I saw Dax pop in. Welcome Dax. So just to bring you up to speed, was we were just talking about these three main agenda items here. And we're going to run all three of these separately through its own proposal, and giving people one last opportunity between now and the core team call tomorrow to vote for some bonus retoken for create Discord announcement for bonus retoken for the three related proposal items. And I'll just put a reference to this tweet in here for today's. So and I know that there's a better spot. I'm just kind of putting it in here right now. And I know that you've been playing around a little. I don't actually think Michael's on here today. I think this time was conflicting for him, but Michael's been hopping in here a little bit and playing around. The list functionality is pretty cool. And this is where I was going with this. This is a new card that I just created the other day, with kind of like the list as it exists here today for, and I didn't have this on here, is send Gmail with Zoom link is everyone finds this very convenient. Cool. And we do want to make things easy for everybody. Okay, awesome. Getting back to our agenda here. So one of the things was kind of wanting to do, and have done this a little bit, and I wanted to do this in a more, and let me make this a little bit bigger here. So I wanted to give everybody the opportunity, because I do believe that this tagline that we're talking about here, this BIDL passive income with real estate for everyone, and I think that this is one that I'm really liking, and wanted to give everybody the opportunity to express their thoughts in a very brief manner. And if somebody wants to kick that off, I've already been raving about the tagline, so I don't think I need to say anybody else, but I will stop talking. And if somebody wants to facilitate a round robin, that would be awesome as well.
So I'm just going to say right out, I'm not a fan of the passive income thing. That just kind of that's me personally. If I see anything that says, hey, build passive income, it's a red flag for me. Because then I think it's just an MLM or, some sort of scam. I don't know if that rings with everybody else, so it could just be me, but I just wanted to let you know that's my perspective. I don't have an alternative solution, though, and I hate presenting a problem without presenting an alternative.
I kind of agree with you there on that one. But again, that's just my perception. And I also don't have a solution. So I'm sorry for that.
Sorry, Yonks. We're just taking your baby and just beating it up.
Hey, well, it's not beating up yet. So, and that's the thing. I'm open for some ideas, in of the direction that we can go. I like the benefits of that, and it's still something that trends very high. And again, it's something that people often search for too.
Are you guys potentially interested in something, I guess, a more simple tagline along the lines of, saying this is a real estate DAO, or, of course there's other real estate DAOs, but like basically explaining what the purpose is and real estate. And I'm throwing out ideas, and my son is simultaneously throwing out ideas, if you can hear him. But yeah, I don't know. Would a simpler tagline work for folks?
I mean, I'd like to just see if we could find a quote better unquote replacement for the passive income. Otherwise, I think this is pretty concise. I mean, I mean, in theory, something smaller would be better, but I think this tells the whole story in one sentence. But yeah, it's only the passive income thing that I would like to see if we could. Right. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm not, it's not, I'm not going to die on that hill either. It's not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I know Yonks, you talked around residual income as well. I don't know if that makes it better or if that's just the same vibe. I don't know.
And it seems, whether it's the same or not, just the trend data that I saw here, and the numbers sometimes, I like the idea of residual income or passive income. And who knows, like to put some positive light on this may be an opportunity for us to create a new positive situation where, because like one of my favorite podcasts is Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. And I don't know if anybody's familiar or not, but he is a kind of in the podcasting legends realm, and he has a very high quality podcast. So I have also been involved in the past in various multi-level marketing or network marketing situations, and I do know that those terms are used a lot. And Teresa even provided some concerns in Discord about and I think that was largely surrounding the warnings of income claims, because that's one of the things in especially the MLM or network marketing circles, that the income claims can be pretty ridiculous there. So that's one of the things that we will absolutely stay away from. And one thing too, because there's really two goals with the passive income. There's the passive income for the token holders, and I think the other opportunity, and this is something that we don't have a solution for, but it's something that wanting to work towards, is creating a type of recurring income for the person that puts these tokenized deals together. So that time will tell if we can create that, and I believe that we can, but we don't have that solution in place yet. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to throw, how about dividends, or is that too specific?
Well, let's just take a look here real quick at this Google Trends. I've talked about the Google Trends here, and let's just see how passive income trends compared to
I just want to point out, just because it's good on Google Trends doesn't mean that it sounds right, though. I think that now that Blurs has mentioned it, it does kind of. I get what are we trying to, who are we trying to appeal to? Google Trends? Is it? I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't, now that he's brought it up, it kind of I would hope that maybe we would explore some other options.
I don't know if dividends is normally used in terms of real estate, because I think that dividends are different than because this would functionally be rental income that would be paid out on a regular. So it is really more passive income. And
I tossed it out there, but I figured dividends is really it has a real meaning behind it, as opposed to just passive income, which a very broad term. I'm
not sure. Hey guys, I'm not sure if we're actually paying dividends legally. I don't know if distributions is a better word, because distributions is also kind of like a whatever word, but I think dividends has a legal meaning.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So I just tossed it out there just in case. How about, I mean, we could literally talk about this all day. But how about, let's just have a deadline for people to think about it on their own. And if we can't think of something better, we just stick with this.
That sounds good. And, we'll have more opportunity here too, because one of the things that we spoke about here for Thanksgiving week coming up here is not hosting any events. We're going to host our core team call tomorrow on Sunday, and I'm not sure if we're going to host one the following Sunday, but we can decide that tomorrow. And as far as the formality too, the opportunity, if we do have something that somebody comes up with that's just oh my god, that's so amazing, Tyler can attest, I'm not so set in stone, and can quickly pivot, especially if it's something that's absolutely fabulous. So the proposals, assuming that these move through the temp check process tomorrow, I was looking at doing a longer proposal duration on these, because that's one of the flexibilities that we have within Snapshot, is we can put the end date whatever we want for it. But I was thinking that it would be good to let this run through these three proposals through the community call coming up on, man, I guess it might even be the first one. And I was going to bring the calendar up here, but I've got this Trello card on full screen. So the Thanksgiving is the 25th. And I guess that this would be our first community call in December, on December 1st. So we could let these proposals run through then too. And, you know, we'll have some more opportunity to talk and think about this. Let this marinate in a basket of some turkey with gravy and cranberries and stuffing and all of that good stuff that we love around Thanksgiving. So that being said, was there anybody else? I know that we kind of didn't do a round robin, but wanted to give everybody else some opportunity to chime in here on this BUIDL passive income tagline, because I do think that this is a fairly significant and it will be likely something that we lean into heavily, because the opportunity, we're going to be talking about creating more content, but I'm going to stop talking, let somebody else chime in some thoughts here before we move forward. All right, well, we'll have the other opportunity to chime in some thoughts tomorrow, because we'll have this as a small talking point tomorrow in the DAO business category. So the other thing too here, the passive income quest, and this is something, let me make sure, yeah, this is so the passive income quest, this is something that I think could provide some solid details surrounding, like unless things change substantially, the poll is leaning very heavily for a light paper. So it's looking like we'll more than likely do a light paper. One decision that we already did make that I'm super excited about is we're going to be using our Gitbook repository here. So if we or when we move forward with light paper, we'll change this from white paper to light paper, and then this will house our light paper or white paper. So that's one of the decisions that we made, I think, during working group number 1, and super excited about that. And for those that like to tech or geek out, we do have this integrated with our GitHub repo over here from a version control standpoint. So it's got this Gitbook sync integration. And one thing, DSign is on here. We had some slight conversation, but I was looking at the history over here, and it does look like that it pushes the person that was making the change forward, since there's that level of integration. So I don't know if it really matters one way or the other if we're pushing from Gitbook to, I think Gitbook is easier to use from a user experience, but just putting that out there because that's something that we had spoken about. And bringing it back to the agenda here. So the passive income quest, and wanted to let everybody, this is something that I brought forward and during our previous working group, and wanted to allow everybody some opportunity here. And I'm going to stop talking and let everybody chime in. And while I'm doing that, I'll bring up the page here that talks about this passive income quest. So to provide some additional thoughts on this is that I believe that this is, again, something that we can utilize for adding a research component to, like, and this is something where I've spoken about, and I think that we, now that we're getting close here, 20th of November, getting close to December, talk about putting a time frame on a deliverable. We've got on our roadmap for Q4 here And my expectation, if we move forward with this passive income quest, this is something that would extend into 2022. And I think it would be a fun opportunity to incorporate in with the ambassador program that we're working on building out. So I think that this could multi-purpose as far as a research effort as well as a potential funnel for expanding our ambassador program while we're working on a strategy locally for expanding. So that's some thoughts on that, and this is documented here, and this is just some initial thoughts on how that we could potentially move this forward. I put like a couple items as far as like a phase one of what that could look like. This is something that I would personally enjoy being a REtoken researcher myself, and then providing some thoughts if this is something that we could or should extend past a phase two, or like, hey, this was a stupid idea, like it sounded good in my head, but in execution it was really not that great. So that's a very real possibility of this. But does anybody have any thoughts on this passive income quest that I've been talking about a little bit so far?
Yeah, sorry, this is my first time reading it, so I'm still catching up.
No worries. And again, just to set some expectations, I think that this would be like the date. I think if this is something that we do decide to move forward with, it's something that we could put in here is like, hey, this is a way that we're going to work towards like a second version of a light paper or a white paper. And, like one of the other relevant time or considerations that we've got, and I'm actually going to bring this up here real quick, is our roadmap, because this is one of the things that we've had some conversations about integrating within like Dax in one of our previous working groups said that he likes seeing about roadmap within the white paper. And this is something I'm not sure if it will make sense or if it will be redundant. It's definitely something that, I really like our visual roadmap that we have here, but the opportunity to potentially bridge that content in some manner, I would be open with as well, if that makes sense. And sometimes people are more visual, and this tends to be, I would say, more of like a visual type of a roadmap. And then, so anyway, I'm talking out loud here, but you want to chime in some thoughts, Dax, because I know that you talked about the roadmap. You like seeing that stuff in other white papers.
Yeah. Thanks, Jason. I have not seen a white paper without roadmap so far. So I think it is an important component within the white paper. That is the reason why I highly recommend that we should have a roadmap, even if it is not like a super detailed. At least just put like a couple of bullet points, or something like they call them we could use like a Figma, right? That's the tool that we were talking about that integrates very well with Gitbook. So we could use some sort of a tool, or another tool is another tool would be Canva would be another good candidate. That they have a template, like a roadmap template. We could just use that template and then just plug in data from here to there, over there, and then just take a copy of that and then just embed within the Gitbook, or however way that that best suits for the Gitbook. So I think we should dedicate a page to kind of like a detail the roadmap.
Yeah,
At least whenever somebody reads the documentation, it automatically, for me, when I read a white paper, I will immediately think of, okay, so what is next? So that's where, it takes me to the roadmap. Okay, so this is the roadmap. So we are in the fourth quarter of, 2021. So I would expect to see something in the first quarter of 2022, second quarter of 2022. These are all the things, some bullet points. So that gives the user or reader some expectations, what would be expected of this particular project, and then they might have some questions, that might trigger some questions for the reader or user. They might, come back and ask us, clarify more things, so on and so forth. That would also open up some engagement within the community. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I think that we can kind of flesh out what that looks like here, and that's one of the things I want to make sure too. If there's anybody that doesn't have that's on the call here that wants to actually contribute to the Gitbook, I think that I've gotten everybody added that has expressed interest, and if that's if you haven't been extended an invite, hit me up on the DMs and we'll get that all squared away. So yeah, we can figure out what that looks like as far as and that's one of the things too that I'm hoping that we can hear over the Thanksgiving holidays and enjoy the time with family. But if you do get bored on things, that feel free to start, drafting some stuff. And like we've got the Google Doc here, and this is something that I think that we could potentially get like the stuff drafted and then, kind of put the polishing touches on it there in Gitbook, and open to some thoughts or some ideas on that. Sometimes the formatting doesn't go well from one place to another, but open for some thoughts.
I'm basically taking next week off and going to be just twiddling my thumbs Monday through Wednesday mostly. So I will be glad to chip in wherever on the docs.
Awesome. And I was playing around a little bit over here, like on some working groups, just since I was catching up on some Token Town. We did the Token Town, and this was a table, and it doesn't look very good here. It looked great on GitHub, and I still don't understand that. But anyway, that was kind of a little bit of a tangent. So yeah, everybody feel free to like go in here and kind of play around a little bit. Like this Gitbook is very new, and the opportunity to create some fabulous content in here and really level up what we're creating.
How do you edit from there? I don't want to digress too much, but
it's app.gitbook.com is yeah. Great question. Oh, that got my whole URL there. And one of the things, this is a side note, yeah, and if anybody can figure it out, me and DSign have both looked, but we've got the docs going to /home right now. I would really like to just get rid of this here, but we couldn't figure out. And if nobody can figure out how to do it, I'll open up a ticket next month in December. It's not something. So just kind of an FYI, a little bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, let's get a list together of I wouldn't say bounty, but a task or whatever, and we could start knocking them off.
Yeah, and the other thing too is we've got Coordinate set up. We really haven't started using it yet, and that's another thing two here over the Thanksgiving break to take a look at. And there's some content. I'll add that to the coordinate thread on Discord, but that's something where it'll give us the core contributors here that are on the call today. That'll give us some additional opportunity to get some more REtoken, but more importantly, get a scalable framework in place is using coordinate. And I know that some people have some reservations on that or less than desirable experiences. And I want to hear everybody's thoughts and try to do the best that we can to make it work as best as possible. I was trying to find my password for my MetaMask and I'm struggling.
I've got a question.
Sure, go for it, Brian.
As far as contributions to the light paper, do we have a outline of the sections that we want to go in there so that we can make sure that, you know, as people have free time, if they want to contribute, that the topics they're putting together are actually the ones we want in the light paper?
Yeah, there's somebody was doing this potential white paper sections in the Google Doc, and this is I haven't really gone either way on these, and this is something that I think that we can work on getting finalized. Let me add this to real quick here. So we were last talking about the passive income quest, and before we talk about the sections, oh, and I did have here, Brian, the light paper versus the white paper poll status. We already spoke about that, but so the did anybody else, before we start talking about the sections, was there any other thoughts on the passive income quest? And we'll talk more about this again during the core team call tomorrow. And this is, like I said, this is kind of like a longer term to add more, I think, weight to the working towards a white paper. So this is more in the bigger project category, the passive income quest. So it didn't sound like that there was any thoughts on that. So the sections on the white paper, does everybody have access to the Google Doc? This one here, I think.
Pretty sure I do.
I don't even remember where the share link was for it. I'll throw it in the chat real quick here.
Just a side note, I totally destroyed the table on that page, so I have to undo all my changes.
On which one?
The one with the working groups.
Yeah, and that's one that I just copied and pasted it, the Token Town one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to let you know on that blurs, I just copied and pasted that from this projects table over here on, I think I updated it both on the hardware and the software narrative, and it looked great over here, like this Token Town working groups, because I got all of the videos uploaded to YouTube. I think there's only a couple more that I think I didn't get 12 or 13 uploaded. Those were a couple that we did after the American Made Solar Prize. But the table, as you can see here, looks great. So there's some problem with something on Gitbook because
yeah, don't worry about it. I'm messing with it. It doesn't want to resize the images, so I'm playing with it right now. We don't need to talk about it here, though.
Yeah. Well, I was just giving a little additional context there for you.
All right.
So the white paper sections. Oh, and I was going to make sure get this share link to the Google Doc here. Copy link, throw this in the chat. Google Docs. So that's, yeah, you're definitely on that, Blurs. And I don't know, I think I've got everybody that's on the call here today. So the sections here, and I don't know if we necessarily need, and this is the kind of thing too, like this is another thing where we can start kind of playing around with the Git book, and I would encourage like everybody to kind of do that. And I've already done that quite a bit. That's why that there's the content that exists on Gitbook. And this is a great opportunity for other people to get some hands-on experience and kind of put some of this, like one of the other things too, like that, because we do have, I like making things not like where there's the information in multiple places. And I know that I'm not communicating in a very clear manner here, but like some of this stuff that we're talking about is in other places, like the REtoken vision and mission or the summary. I mean, we've got that in the Genesis proposal, we've got that in the operating agreement. And this may be an opportunity to kind of like make it where we don't have some of this stuff all over the place. So like right now, we still have our operating agreement over here on GitHub, which I'm okay with it being there, but maybe like as a component of this, because and again, just kind of rambling a little bit and talking out loud, but just trying to make things more clear and concise, flow well for somebody that will be coming here to consume the content, and make it easy for everybody, because we want things to be convenient. We want it to be send a clear and consistent message.
So you're saying you're for including that summary information inside the white paper?
We can't. I think the whatever we can do to make this like a solid experience for whomever is consuming it, you know, like we want things to be in a manner that people can consume, whether it's in here or like whether it's because like the opportunity for it to be in another section here on Gitbook, like the operating agreement, knowing what I know now about Gitbook, you know, the opportunity to bring the operating agreement and have it here natively on Gitbook, I think makes more sense. So, you know, and like the opportunity to just make it easy to find the information where we don't have the same information in three places, I guess is kind of, I would rather have the information like for example, if we need to update a component of it, we update it in one place compared to three places, if that makes sense. From just a document management standpoint. And we've got a section here on affordable housing, and that's one of the things that we can potentially talk about. Like I really like the because you know, I think the opportunity for us to plant a seed and do a second white paper where we go in more detail on equitable affordable housing in some manner. I know that I've regularly talked about like a shared equity appreciation model, and I don't know what that specifically looks like. And so that might be an opportunity here to have an affordable housing section. And then we could say, hey, we're going to roadmap this white paper where we're going to do a deeper dive on that, and talk a little bit about it, and then set the expectation that we're going to do a much deeper dive later.
Yeah, I think including a lot of these things we've discussed, the high-level mission, values, objectives, affordable housing. I think a lot of those things would be useful in the initial white paper, at least on a summary level. Initial white paper, at least on a summary level. So I'm personally in favor of, I know it's redundant for now, but having it in the light paper kind of being the central repository.
I think that's fine as well.
Yeah, and I guess to double down on that, my experience when I tend to look for DAOs and currencies and things of that nature, I always start with the white paper or light paper, and I let it point me to other places that they want me to look. And that's kind of like the first place I go is their light paper or their white paper.
Yeah, that makes sense, and we can structure this however we want it. What ends up flowing the best here. And we could even, if we wanted to have that be, and I guess it's just a matter of figuring out like how that we want to do the document management too, as far as the level of detail in this, or if we want to have it, and that's the nice thing about it being on Gitbook, is it's all right there too.
Well, I was thinking once we have the sections ironed out, we can let people, as they have time and bandwidth, start to hash away at the sections. Maybe have some way of, noting who did what, so that folks can get their credit for it. And then when we have working sessions, come together and review what's been written and finalize and clean it up and stuff like that, and get a process towards getting it to a completed version.
Yeah, and the way that I understand the Gitbook here in GitHub, and this is one of the things I was speaking to very, very briefly earlier, but here on our GitHub repo, our GitHub organization page, the docs repo is where the integration all occurs. So like this white paper here, and looking at the history, so you can see that it shows myself, Team Yonks, authored, and then Gitbook committed. So it shows here the who contributed to that, and that's one of the things that we spoke a little bit about, like source cred. That's a potential tool that we can look at implementing, not necessarily for the sake of this white paper, but down the road as we're continuing to do more content, and Gitbook will definitely be a foundational aspect of our content strategy, not the only aspect, because we definitely want to get some more public facing content in the manner of blog posts and or like podcasts or other live streams. But that's another conversation. As far as the sections, and the nice thing about this, as far as that we don't have any type of version, the opportunity for people here on Gitbook to hop in and start making, and I don't know if we want to just put some initial sections here today. We still have little over half of our working group today. So I think that might be, because I don't think that I've got too much more planned agenda for today as far as setting the tone here. So making some forward progress, like you said, Brian, where people can potentially come in and contribute some details. I know that that's something I'm going to be doing myself over the next week or so. One thing that is noteworthy as far as the way that the Gitbook process works, you have to go in and edit, and then you make a change, and then you have to submit the change, and then that prompts a change workflow that has to be done as well. So to add a subpage here, like a new section, so we would insert a subpage, and we'll call this a new document page. So what would this section be called for the white paper?
It would just be the first white paper or light paper, right?
Yeah, it would be whatever we want the section to be called.
I mean, it would just be under white paper, we'll have each separate white paper as a separate sub page, right?
Well, for now, and I guess that this is like, if we're talking about having sections, do we want it all to be on one page, or do we want it to be in multiple pages and just have it, or does that make sense?
A white paper should be on one page, one document. You don't want people jumping around to different URLs and sub pages for a white paper. But for each of the 3 separate white papers or light papers that we were talking about, those should each be on their own page.
Okay. And I guess that I've seen different types of scenarios. Like, have you seen white papers that are done in Gitbook?
I have not, but I haven't really. No, I have not. Normally it's like a PDF or something that's linked externally or something.
Yeah, and that's where here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so BitDAO, and this is one that full disclosure, I'm going through their community ambassador delegate process myself. So this is one that we've been speaking about throughout the working groups, where they are utilizing Gitbook here for their light paper as well. But yeah, no, I get what you were saying there, Blurs, as far as like the opportunity, and this is something I guess where we could have, like, if we want to do the sub pages, like, because right now we're only going to have the one white paper or light paper, and then like the opportunity as we grow it to do it more nested, kind of like what we did with the working groups here, I think would be super easy to implement down the road.
I'm personally very neutral towards the layout of it, whether it's the BitDAO format or whether it's a single PDF. I'm very, very neutral. I'm just concerned about content, really. Just trying to contribute to content.
Yeah, and I don't know if we wanted to just like pick one or a couple of the sections over here. I mean, we've been speaking a little bit about roadmap. I guess I could just call this roadmap.
It doesn't. I mean, we can always change this later too. So it.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah, I wouldn't even sweat it.
Well, I'm just playing around a little bit here with the sections. I'm and I can work on doing some of the context as far as translating. And this is something too, I think during this exercise here over the next week or so, while we're thinking about the roadmap, there may be some things that we've done that aren't reflected on the roadmap, or things that we need to do or that we should do also. So like one of the things that we've got, and this is one of, just to let everybody know that I'm planning on doing some of the proposals, because we've got a decent backlog of some proposals to do. And the like one of which is the adding, and this came up here, where was it, ambassador program, let's see, oh yeah, so ambassador program, this was like from 11/11, so over a week ago, that I still need to create a proposal for. So this is something, where we'll be adding one more thing to the roadmap. So would love everybody, while we're talking about adding the roadmap and communicating that in a manner here on our white paper or light paper, to be thinking through as far as like, is there something that we should have on our roadmap that we don't have on our roadmap, that so hopefully everybody can be thinking of that here over the next week or two, because the roadmap is a great opportunity for us to communicate in a succinct manner that this is a well thought out, and that we have a plan, and that we're working together for some common agreed upon things. So super excited. Like one of the things, and I need to add that here while I'm thinking of it, because sometimes I forget, and this is why that it's not on the roadmap yet, is getting our regulation crowdfunding offering. So that's something that I'm going to officially do during the core team call tomorrow, and I'm going to put an agenda item here so that I don't forget about it. And I'm going to put it up here close to the top. 5 minutes. Add reg CF offering. I don't even remember what RAP to roadmap for 2022 Q3. And this is one of the things too, this specific item here is definitely something that we should communicate in a decent manner, because that sets the tone that we're wanting to be cognizant of securities regulations, and that's something that I'm going to kind of think through when we get a little bit more formation on this, as far as how to sprinkle that throughout this, because that's one of the things that I think will increase people's confidence, and then more importantly, I think allow us to have the growth that I think is really possible in this space. So, I mean, I think that we should have a section on tokenomics, and I don't know what we're going to have for the details in here, but that's something that I think people will definitely look to, like roadmap tokenomics. Those are definitely some sections in here, and I'm going to move this. Let's see, created on Gitbook. Roadmap, tokenomics. Governance is a good one. And like right now we've got mission here. Like if we wanted to, we could just bring this whole section like here, because this is something that doesn't really have any details in it, and I don't know if it makes sense to do it nested here. This is something that we can kind of play around with. And one of the things too is we're kind of exploring this that we need to be cognizant of is that increasingly people are coming in through a mobile experience. So looking at how this looks on like from a iPhone or Android perspective on our mobile devices, that's something that I do, and I've been really pleased so far with how things look on that. So let's see, I moved mission up here.
I think the at least some high level notes on how the residual income or passive income portion works, especially since we've been mulling over having a tagline related to that. That's kind of a little lower on the page there.
So would we call that passive income, or are we going to let that one marinate for the next couple of weeks?
Maybe just like the income model or something generic, just to let us come back to it, but also to remind us, hey, this is an important section to include.
Can I speak to that? This is
was having a hard time hearing you, Amy.
Can you hear me better?
That's a little better.
Okay. I've been doing a lot of thinking about that, because we might have some conflict later on. I know before I have bought some timeshares, and our how should I say this? Our model is kind of like that, but you stay in it. It's not something you don't live in, but it's kind of like that. So if it's open to everyone, so it's not only for real estate professionals, can you not call it like commission, like monthly commission or whatever, instead of saying it's passive income? Because I don't know what regulations we're going to run into if that is the case. I don't know. That's just a thought. Because I remember paying monthly on my timeshare, even though I'm not living it at the moment. So obviously, whoever is sold that to me is probably getting a monthly commission too. Just a thought.
Did you want to chime in on something there, Poopster?
Well, just to kind of what she said, like I've actually heard the same thing from quite a few people. Like the whole model sounds like timeshare. So just a heads up, just to like, yeah, several people mentioned that.
The model, like the tokenization model, or
No, the payment structure that we are trying to sell out to people is familiar to a timeshare. If I was the one selling the timeshare, I would get commission, something like that, on a monthly basis probably, because the client pays a monthly, monthly payment.
Well, I mean, we haven't finalized any of the specifics as far as the process or any of that for this model right now. But I mean, typically rent is collected on a monthly basis, and I'm hoping that we can create some type of dynamic where we're not necessarily calling it rent, but and that may depend on, you know, what situation is being tokenized too, because the opportunity for us to, you know, because the, you know, there's increasing affluent individuals that want to have a second home, and this is one of the miscellaneous real estate situations that I shared about here, not necessarily even blockchain based, and it was what was this one called, Picasso, where people are, you know, doing fractionalized whole ownership, and it's like, you know, whether it's a quarter or an eighth, or, you know, that's not even a tokenized situation. So you know, I think fundamentally though, the business model surrounding timeshare is very different than tokenization. Now, the opportunity to potentially, you know, create more flexible, having a network effect that we should achieve, you know, the opportunity to create more, like, you know, where because again, the commonality is going to be the tokenized of the property. So the opportunity to, you know, do different types of models, whether it's more of like a timeshare model or a Airbnb type of a model, or whatever the case may be, when people are paying for staying somewhere, whether that's, you know, somebody that's living there long term, or it's somebody that's staying there short term. And the thing is that we can touch on this in some manner in our light paper, but it's something that I don't necessarily think that we need to figure out within our own umbrella here. And that's one of the things that, like, I think separating out some of that type of functionality like that in a separate DAO or a sister DAO, like where spoke about our home, that's going to be the co-op housing NFT. And I think that those types of opportunities will pair very well for like a co-op housing and tokenizing a co-op housing, because I believe that the revenues will be better in that scenario too. So I know that that's a little bit of a tangent, but I guess, and we can get really into the details on this, but then I guess that's also the benefit of just thinking about this is going to be a light paper, and then, you know, if we want to go a deeper dive in a specific area, then we can do like maybe even a separate white paper, like the affordable housing component. That's definitely something that I think that we should plan on doing a detailed light paper or white paper on that topic specifically. And I don't know if that makes sense or if I was just rambling there. So, or maybe a little both.
I think my point was the money that we pay out. You know, we can, if passive income is a trigger, maybe commission is not. I don't know. There's a lot of people making commissions on a monthly basis.
Well, to me, commission denotes something that was sold. Like commissions are normally, because there's, and that's one of the reasons that I still like passive income, is that you will be benefiting from the, you know, because right now, and unless I'm mistaken, we're mostly talking about tokenizing housing. and functionally or technically, like in Tokentown, Colorado, and at the end of the day, we're not tokenizing a house, we're tokenizing an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, a legal entity that owns the property. So when we're talking about sharing in, because and I don't know what it's called in a lot of times it's I guess technically dividends, but normally in like stocks that's paid on a quarterly basis, and that's one of the things that's I mean we can call it what we want it. We just want to make sure that it conveys and and like when I think of commissions, I think of somebody selling something, and that's definitely not the context of tokenized ownership of real estate.
Wouldn't the like a proper term just kind of be like distributions, regular distributions, so profits?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a profit distribution, or yeah, I mean it.
And the model is a REIT, correct? Or at least high level, that's the vision.
No,
REIT.
REITs are very different. Like normally in a REIT, you that REIT is like a portfolio of properties. On one of the value propositions that tokenization provides is that you can invest on a per property basis, and like a REIT is probably more similar to like owning a share of a mutual fund, where you in that fund and then invest in a different companies within the fund. Similarly, a REIT, whatever types of, they normally have some type of like, this is the niche that our portfolio invests in. And then and most REITs have a higher barrier of entry too. Like normally to invest in a REIT, it's $1,000, and all the sometimes you have to be an accredited investor. So the promise of tokenization is that it could be a very small amount that you could invest in, and that's kind of up to the issuing or the person that's doing the offering, how that they want to structure their offering to increase the accessibility for people. So bouncing back to the agenda. So we've created some initial sections here, and this is something I guess that can work on getting filled in between our next working group. And would definitely encourage everybody to, and I'll see if I can find some better references, because I like passive income, and I know that I can definitely feel the concern as far as the other circles that is used heavily in as well. So that's something that we can continue to contemplate over. Let's look here. I think that the DAO structure, like, I think that this is something that we could put under governance. we've got governance up here. And I don't know if we want to incorporate like the crypto mining aspect into this particular white paper. I think that that's like another opportunity, because I don't necessarily want that to be like a requirement or construed out of context potentially.
Why don't we have a section where it talks about being a crypto house is a feature that we offer in tokenized properties?
Okay, say that again, Tyler.
We could talk about a crypto house as an add-on option to tokenized properties. So we could either vote on if people want to crypto mine there, or we could leave it up to the tenants or the co-op owners or whatever. We just say this is a service that we offer.
Yeah, and one of the things I was just thinking here to myself, and now I'll think out loud a little bit more. Like, one of the things that I believe is our biggest opportunity is to do things differently than, because we've already seen multiple platforms, projects, whatever that you want to call it, that are basically taking an existing rental situation and tokenizing it. And I think that that's one of the biggest opportunities that we have here, is to create more of a win-win-win business model. And I don't know if that's a section that we want to create in this white paper, where we can talk about like maybe crypto house, or the cooperative housing, or and again, I'm just thinking out loud, but I really like that aspect of our founding principles. Here is like the what do we call that? Win-win-win. And I don't know if we should maybe just bring this founding principles up to our white paper and make that a section of our white paper along with our mission.
That's good.
See how easy that was? Look at that. See, and like this REtoken token policy, like that could be a subpage under tokenomics, right?
I believe so. Yep.
And I don't know if we should just make it its own section so it doesn't get lost there. Thinking so. So and I heard Dax talking a little bit about like on the Figma here on the roadmap. My concern with that, and I've done some stuff with Figma, I like the roadmap that we have here on Trello, and I would kind of my preference would be, instead of like trying to visually recreate something in Figma so that we could have something here, just have a link to our roadmap here and in some other communication mechanism. And I'll put some thoughts to this, but like whether it's a bulleted list with sections as far as like breaking it down, where it can provide some additional context in a different manner digestibly than what's seen here on Trello for the roadmap. So that's kind of the thoughts to, and I was just thinking of that while I was clicking through here. Look like I started putting some stuff under this founding principles already a little bit previously.
Hey, Yonks, just non sequitur, very quickly. Can you go to the how to participate and go to working groups? Just very quickly. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, you're in edit. Never mind. Okay. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I tried to make some edits and I think I made it worse. Okay, don't worry about it. Go back to what you're doing.
Well, I'm running out of things to talk about here during today's working group, unless somebody else wants to chime in on the conversation.
Did we get a table of contents or a topic list or something for? I don't know if I missed that part.
I've been adding some of the sections here and brought some that was already existed. I think that we've got some working context, and I don't know how much more that we really need. And this is something that I think that we can figure out. I don't know if we should include like affordable housing, equitable affordable housing in this section. I think that that's a fairly important component. And then, you know, like I was mentioning, talk about, you know, and maybe even officially roadmap that for a future white paper where we do a deeper dive and really have a better understanding on that aspect. But that's really the only one that looking through this list that we haven't. One thing too, and this is one other section that isn't categorized here that I'm thinking that could be important, is like securities regulations. And where we could speak through like, and this is, I just thought of that when I saw this line here for these two, like regulation, crowdfunding, and registered transfer agent. I think that this would be a good opportunity to talk about our, and maybe like right here in between governance and tokenomics, I'm thinking let's do it right here. Securities regulations. Is that a good enough section title?
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Because that's definitely something that I want to bring light of, as everybody has noticed. That is definitely something that is very that we want to be cognizant of, and not put forward the opportunity of creating security tokens or issuing tokens that. And anyway, I think that putting this in, I don't know, I'll have to think of through, and if anybody, and just putting this out here for anybody that's on the call, anybody that may be listening to the replay, this would be a great opportunity where we could like do some type of infographic where we could talk about the 3 securities regulations. And this is something that I think that I fairly well summarized in the tokenomics, and I can't remember if I put it here in the token securities regulations. I did. So this is something that I fairly well commented on in Discord as far as the 3 considerations for securities regulations when it comes to security tokens or digital assets. I'm not going to read through that here, but this would be a great opportunity for some type of infographic to visualize and summarize these 3 areas. And the 2 that are most important for our consideration are the broker dealer, and that's where we would have the regulation crowdfunding. And this is something too to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I did post this earlier today. And this is a noteworthy chart because these are the securities regulations that have exemptions. So regulation crowdfunding, this is the one that we're most interested in. It's very easy. Crowdfunding is used so much here in 2021, and we're talking about regulation crowdfunding. This is one that has, and it's very confusing because it's a securities exemption, but there's still regulations surrounding crowdfunding, even though it categorically is a Securities Act exemption. Confusing, I know, but that's what it is. So, and the green rows that I highlighted here, the second column here is the ones that don't have any additional state registration requirements. So those 4 rows are the ones that are most interesting, and regulation crowdfunding is the easiest to implement. So that's what we're looking to, what securities regulation that we're looking to create our tokenized offerings under. And just to let everybody know, those are conversations that we're having. If anybody's interested in participating in those conversations, reach out to Mrs. Yonks and myself. We're starting to have more conversations, and we'll have some more conversations as we're wanting to put together a like we're looking here in Colorado, and this is kind of like to get some dry runs or some practice runs while we're working towards Tokentown, Colorado, which have continually said is our flagship project. And in Tokentown, Colorado, looking to create a whole neighborhood and tokenize each and every situation, whether that's in a single family house or maybe a business or maybe even an apartment building in Tokentown, Colorado. So those conversations are super preliminary. So bringing it back to our working group conversation on that. So the securities regulations, those 3 components, like I said, if somebody likes doing some visual representation, hopefully it won't be left to me because I'll probably do something pretty basic, but that's an opportunity. So if anybody's listening or anybody on the call or anybody else would love to see what we can come up with on that. As far as looking here, we've got one next action, and that is to create the Discord announcement for these 3 proposal items: the tagline, BUIDL passive income, the passive income quest, and the light paper versus white paper. And here's the tweet that's got these 3 opportunities, and we'll only have that opportunity for some bonus REtoken through our core team call tomorrow. So what other next action items do we have? I don't know if we want to go ahead here and put our next working group on the calendar. That's, I think, probably something that I would feel better with, so that we can have a when that we're going to reconvene, and hopefully we'll have some more details. I know that I'm going to put some meat behind some of these sections that we were talking about in between now and our next one. So thoughts?
Just really quickly before we go to the agenda, next steps and scheduling next meeting for potential topic, because when you brought up Token Town, Colorado as the flagship program, I assume there'd be like our projects or our initiatives section that's growing on a continuous basis. So start with Token Town and then expand with other projects as they get added. And then as you brought up the Our Home co-op, I don't know if the right word is like our ecosystem or our partners or I'm not sure what the right terminology is, but just to kind of capture those relationships and how they work together and what the common goals are for forming those relationships. Those are just two topics I was thinking maybe need to be added.
Yeah, and I don't know if that will be fleshed out for inclusion here on this white paper, and that's too the thing that I sometimes get a little concerned about is that, like, I think the opportunity for us to have scope creep within this document, because like I'm already starting to feel a little bit like a lot of this stuff really falls outside of the context. And like, if we call this document or this white paper that we're creating BIDL passive income with real estate for everyone, like that's the thing, like in my opinion, the mission of, because that's one of that, but like, again, and this is just me thinking out loud, but like documenting like all of our every aspect of our operations, I don't think should fall under the scope of a white paper, like whatever the types of partner arrangements or and we don't have any of those types of agreements now. And I think that as we begin maturing, that's definitely something that we can expect will occur, because that's definitely something that I've advocated, that I brought up Rabbit Hole, the opportunity to potentially collaborate on some quests there, or other DAOs, or because at the end of the day, we're still focused on real estate and the tokenization of real estate. And like that's one of the reasons broken out Token Summit here is that event planning isn't necessarily something that we need to get good at, and the opportunity to amplify that through a separate sister DAO, for example. So I'm open for hearing how that we can characterize that. I mean, started creating this projects section down here. The Get Book platform is very new. I mean, we've only had this online literally like a couple weeks now, and we haven't really had that many solid conversations about what we want the content to look like in there. And that's one of the things that I'm expecting to have more opportunities and more breakout conversations as we start to have more conversations surrounding content strategy and creating content on a regular basis to just improve the overall knowledge base of the community that we're growing and serving here. So one final thought here, and this is something that I noticed. I've done quite a few little edits during the course of the working group here today on the Get Book, including moving pages around, creating some new sections, all very solid stuff. So like I do absolutely believe that we get things done during our working groups. But where I was going with that, the way that the workflow works, we are currently in edit mode here on my screen. So there's a subject over here. So I'm going to put in edits made during white paper working group number 3. And this is our live stream. And one of the other things, very unrelated to our white paper working group, but putting this out here for anybody and the universe at large. If anybody likes doing live streaming, like one of the tools that I'm going to be personally playing around with is this OBS Open Broadcaster software. So that's one of the additional tools to enhance the quality of the live streams. And this is something that will be very important to get dialed in, as Tyler and I and anybody else that's interested, we're wanting to do a REtoken podcast, and depending on how heavily we lean into this, may even be called Biddle Passive Income with Real Estate. So we shall see where those conversations progress. But OBS, if anybody again is interested in that, that's a tool that wanting to incorporate into the live streaming here. So I thought of that when I was just typing in live stream. So getting back here, we are completing the changes that we made, and this is the edit tagline that shows up. So diff view, I don't know how well that works because we made changes across multiple pages. So we click on submit, and then what happens is that there's this workflow change request. And this is something that as the teams mature within the content team, and they're in their infancy right now, is that we may want to create some type of a dynamic. And again, we're not there yet. So right now, since this is all very fresh and a work in progress, we're just going to put these changes into production, merge that. So now those changes are live. So everything that we did here today is now visible on our docs.retoken.info. So does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Blurs.
Okay, now that you're out of edit mode, can you do me a favor and go to how to participate in working groups? I have a feeling it's just going to look like garbage. What the hell? Can you do a hard refresh? No.
Well, and did you actually do the submit and the merge on your end?
I actually did it straight in GitHub because I had to do advanced resizing.
It only pushes from Gitbook. It's not a bi-directional.
So if I make changes in GitHub, it won't.
Correct.
Go to. Oh shit! I mean.
Well, hey, no,
I did some really cool stuff, and I guess it's not going to work.
Now that being said, Blurs, the opportunity to copy what you have there and paste it into app.gitbook, but that's yeah. So the
can you edit Markdown directly?
Again, like the page, when I just copied and pasted what was from GitHub on a brand new page, and that's what ended up with. I was trying to edit, and I couldn't see how to go in and edit the whatever's broken, because it's definitely not working right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna hear it because I had to do because the resizing options in Gitbook are terrible. I did just some cursory Googling and didn't find crap. But
I agree.
And so I did it in GitHub by doing some Markdown image source with height 50%, blah blah blah, and now everything's smaller on the GitHub page. But yeah, let me try editing and. Right now, I don't know. Keep going. I'm going to just do this while we're here.
So the other thing that I thought would be good to get here is getting our next working group on the calendar.
Oh.
So I'm thinking either Monday or Tuesday, 29th or 30th. Should we just go for the 30th? We had our this one on the 16th, working group number 2. Just do the that seemed to be a pretty good time for everybody, that 7 p.m. Eastern time on the 30th.
Works for me.
Let's do that. White paper working group number 4.
I'm not sure we'll be able to attend. I think we're going to be in, well, I know we're going to be in Miami. So I just don't know what we're going to be doing.
Oh yeah, that's something that I was really hoping to go to, but it didn't look like it's going to be lining up. Would it be? I mean, I don't have any problem, you know, because swinging it over here to Thursday like this.
That's Thanksgiving. Or talking about the following week.
No, yeah, this is December the 2nd.
Yeah, I think that's when we're flying back. So I'm not sure what like the exact schedule is yet. We still don't even have plane tickets yet. So, but I think that we're there the 29th through the 2nd, I believe, maybe. So we're gonna get caught no matter what.
Well, I mean, we can kick it over here to Saturday.
I don't think there's any need to delay it just because we can't make it.
Okay. Well, I'll bring it back to Tuesday then. All righty. So let's see. Finish scheduling WG 4 for Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST, November 30th. Was there any other next actions that we needed? Everybody, I'll put this here too. Continue to research, contemplate the passive income aspect of discussed tagline. So welcome back, Amy. Just going through here in the final minutes, making sure we've got the working group number 4 on the calendar for 7 p.m. Eastern on November 30th, and continue to research, contemplate the passive income aspect of our discussed tagline. And then the other thing was the Discord announcement for the +5 bonus REtoken for Discord participation. I don't know why I'll know what that is. So is there anything else that we needed here before we wrap up? We've got our core team call tomorrow at 3:00. Looking forward to that. Feel free, everybody, to take a look at the agenda. We've got our go live scheduled at oh wait, this is the wrong one. We've got our go live scheduled at 3:15, but did put a little bit of agenda in there, not a whole lot yet, but I'll be thinking of that between now and tomorrow myself. So anything else for the white paper working group here today?
I'm here. Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thanks again for hanging out with us, Brian, and everybody else for chiming in and contributing, getting our light paper done, and this will be a definite, very solid milestone for us. And we'll catch up. Hopefully, everybody will be back tomorrow for the core team call, same time, 3:00 tomorrow, 3 Eastern. And we'll have, I think I've already got that event in Discord here on the events. I can't remember if I created the sesh event, but it's up on the Discord event. So have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon and evening, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thanks. See ya.
See you guys tomorrow.